You probably can't tell from where you are, but I'm 6.5 feet tall. Now, back when I was 3 feet tall, I was taught not to judge a book by its cover. I was also taught that things aren't always the way that they seem. Well, the same applies for people. In 2016, North Carolina sparked outrage across the United States by passing the infamous bathroom bill. This bill, no matter where you side with it, has started a very important conversation about civil rights in terms of sexual identity. Now today we're going to have a very special guest who's going to be giving us his thoughts on living in America as a transgender male. But before we get started, there are some core concepts that we'd like to cover for those of you who may not understand the issue as much as you'd like to. So for a long time, society has assumed that gender acts on a binary level. You are either male or female. However, as society has developed and more open-minded ideas have been allowed to flourish, we've learned that gender doesn't work just on the binary level of male and female. It also works on a spectrum in between. At its most basic level, the way it works is this. Human beings are born with sexual characteristics that identify them biologically as either male or female. This gender given to you based on your sexual reproductive organs typically assigns you a gender role in society. You are either to be a male or a female, and that comes with certain expectations for either. Now, gender roles, or the expectation placed upon you by society, has changed over the past century as people have come to realize that men and women can do interchangeable tasks and have interchangeable skills. However, the new conversation that people have been starting to have is that of gender identity. Now here's where a lot of people get confused, and when they get confused they get scared, and when they get scared they get angry. So one of our hopes here today is to minimize your confusion so that we can allow you to perhaps have a more productive conversation in the future. When a person is born and given a gender, either male or female based on their sexual characteristics, if that person identifies themselves in a manner that matches their assigned gender, they are referred to as cis. Cis, spelled CIS, is a technical term for somebody whose internal identity matches the identity given to them by their sexual characteristics. Although cisgender people have been typically regarded as normal, we're now learning as a society that that's not quite the case. Many people are now feeling comfortable enough to openly admit that they don't identify with the gender given to them by their sexual characteristics. These people are able to transcend the gender role given to them by their biological traits. They transcend their gender. They're transgender. You see, even though there are two binary poles of the gender spectrum, there is still an entire middle that we're missing. People can exist at either end of the spectrum as either male or female, whether biologically or self-identifying, but they could also find themselves anywhere on the spectrum that they like. They could identify as more female or more male, or right in the middle, anywhere in between. People who identify right in the middle of the gender spectrum associate themselves with either gender, and this could either mean that they will stay there or they can move back and forth as they see fit that day or as they are feeling, and these people are referred to as gender fluid. So in order to allow you to better understand what it is to be transgender, today I have a special guest. His name is Matt, and he's a student at the University of New Haven, and I'm very excited to have him here, and I'm hoping that we can all learn a little something from him.